Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of our Chit-Chat podcast. And today we have a very, very special group of people here. We have our Chit-Chat team, the hearts, the brain and the workhorse behind our podcast. But it's not just the people up here. We also want to acknowledge those behind the cameras, the one operating the lights, the sound system especially. There's a lot of work that goes into producing one single episode. So if you're listening or watching, give them a big round of applause. Yeah. Thank you for coming on board today's episode. And
thank you.
And today we're not just here to of course, to give thanks to you all, pay tribute to you all, but today we also want to talk a little bit about, doing church in a social media age. Yeah. Now, first of all, we are from different generations, right? Joshua and I are one generation, and then Ye-Chen and Matt, you're from a different generation. Yeah. How is church now different from church in the past, 10 years ago? Let's say 10 years ago.
10 years?
Yeah.
How old were you guys when you were 10? 10 years felt like so long ago.
I was 16.
I was 13.
Wow.
So young, right?
Small
So
kids.
still in youth, huh?
Yeah. Still in you.
Yeah, I was, how old? 22. Joshua was 23, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was using my first iPhone back then. iPhone 4, I think. Was iPhone 4? Yeah. How was church different back then 10 years ago? 10 years ago, we never used Facebook for church, I think. 10 years ago, we never have something called a podcast for church.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. 10 years ago, we sang different songs.
Yeah.
We sang a lot of songs from Hillsong and Planet Shakers that you all might not know. Yeah,
We might not know.
You all might not know.
Okay.
Yeah. But what about you?
I think 10 years ago, it was very simple. It was just, coming to church. And then there wasn't much technology back then. It was just like, you play with your own friends.
Yeah.
I think all the games were pretty simple back then.
Board games.
Yeah, board games. Or, like games like Ice and Fire. All those like very basic back to old school games. And like we just came to like worship lah. And, just normal service without any other things. It's like, if you want to know any information, it would be through like, your parents or WhatsApp. And it's just like pure lah. It's just simple.
People really come to fellowship, right?
Yeah.
Not like now. They come and then they don't want to fellowship with anyone.
I mean, I saw that transition like 10 years ago. Even for myself, I was more computer centered, where I would use when I spend time with technology, it's mainly on my laptop or my computer, less on my phone. But throughout these 10 years, there's this huge shift where people started to be more mobile-centered. Everybody started like having phones and then games in their phones. So I think this is one of the main difference from 10 years ago.
Yeah. So more mobile phone centered. Everything can be done on the phone now. Yeah. What about you, Ye-Chen?
I think 10 years ago, I still remember MEC, we just only started. And just now we were also saying our invitations are like name card size.
Yeah, that was the coolest thing.
We are giving out invitations via this name card size thing to invite our friends. And nowadays, it's very different. Like we invite our friends through social media. We just send them a post from church. We just press the share button and welcome to church. Invite you to come to church and things like that. So
we use WhatsApp so much more now.
Yes.
Yeah. Social media.
Like 10 years ago, I think I still remember one thing that's very different. 10 years ago, we use email a lot more. Like you want to send documents, you use email. The official way is to use the email. Then there's no unofficial way. There's only email or
SMS. Which you cannot attach files.
Yeah, and it's expensive to send SMS. And then, because our parents pay our phone bills.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the phone bill literally lists out every single SMS you send. And then if it comes up to a certain amount, then your parents will come. My parents will come and and ask me why you spend so much money on SMS. But I think one thing we can all agree that it hasn't changed, or maybe it changed and then it came back. The dressing hasn't changed. Like now, fashion from 10 years ago is coming back,
Yeah.
Vintage.
right? Vintage,
Yes.
retro. Big sneakers are coming back in fashion now.
My leg jeans.
Yeah. Ripped jeans. Now, we talk about the difference 10 years ago, but do you all think the way in which we minister, the way we outreach has also changed with the times that we are living in?
I think it has become much more convenient to connect. And everybody is very accessible. It's very easy to connect with people. You just bring up your phone and then you can just send a message, video call, Zoom, or even Discord, just to connect with people. I mean, what church does, especially in terms of communicating and connecting with people, I think we have slowly start to use a lot of these tools. Yeah, so I think this is something that has changed. Previously, the best way to connect with members is through home visitations.
Yeah.
You have to arrange a schedule time and then you go to their homes and then say, hey, I'm coming. Yeah, but it's a different kind of connection. But now it has become so much quicker
Yeah.
and fast-paced.
Yeah, I mean, adding on to that, it's like nowadays there's this availability of like social media, Facebook, Discord is something also, YouTube, Instagram, and nowadays most of like the stuff that we do can be put online in terms of having Bible studies online, podcasts. It's just an abundance of knowledge all online, and you can just absorb very easily now.
Has the message gone out faster? The message, like, let's say we want to talk about Christ. Do you think it has gone out faster during the times today?
For me, yes, I think definitely. Because like now it's a very visual world. And like, for example, on our phone, on Instagram or things like that, we look at reels, we look at pictures, and usually you also realize yourself when you're scrolling something, you usually pause when you see like something nice, maybe a picture or photo of a group of people or people talking, and then you'll pause and then you'll start, you'll look at it, finish the reel, to what the content is and things like that. So definitely nowadays, visually, we can spread the gospel. I think we can spread the gospel faster through media, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talk about digital advancement. We are all like part of that group. Even like Joshua and myself, even though we are one generation apart from these two young people here, like we also advance a lot because we are at the age where we can pick up. We have gone through like all the different technological advancement phase, and we can sort of pick up and go with the flow. But we talk about digitalization, social media, and the church. How far should the church advance? Because there will be a group of people that will ultimately be left out because they cannot or might not be able to pick up. Or there will be some group of people that don't have access to such technology. And this will be the group of people that will eventually be left out if we advance too far. So how far should we advance?
Just to respond to that, I think social media has become made people, I would say, with very reduced attention spans. As we are scrolling through, if we want to be attractive, we want to capture the attention of the viewers, we have to really be intentional, be attractive, and then put in a lot of effort to design content or even share content that is relatable to people. So in terms of how far we can go, I would say we are competing with a very huge attractive market. Where is the church taking up this space in social media? Is it like sharing the message out? Because there's so much more messages that people are delivering, advertisements and all. So how far should the church go? I think it also depends on whether the church sees the vision or not. Because I would say that not everybody thinks that this is important. I think that is the first step for churches to see the need, to actually say that, hey, this is a tool which we want to use to connect with people. If not, it's very hard to go far. It might be even hard to start, you know. How much are we going to invest into so-called social media and also the media of today? Yeah.
Yeah. What about you too?
Yeah, I mean, advancing technology, it does definitely needs to be aligned with the church purpose as well. Because if there's no need for it, then I think we shouldn't be going into this direction. We shouldn't be going too far and without having a vision, a goal in mind. Yeah, but of course, even if we advance, there's always treating it as though as a celebrity, making our social media as king sometimes, and there are dangers to it as well. So I would say it's also aligning the church perspective and vision, as well as looking at the fine line of where to stop to advance for new technology.
Wow, nice.
Actually, I really like what Joshua said. Like, actually, social media is actually a platform for us to minister to our congregation, to people outside of church as well. So I guess for talking about advancement, honestly, I really don't know how far this social media world can go. But I think as long the message of Jesus can be spread to people, and I think we just let you go as far as you can. Yeah.
I would agree with all of you because there are so many trends. Like TikTok is one of the trends. Like we cannot be jumping on every single trend and think that it will work, because end up it will become just a very cringy kind of thing that we do, right? Yeah, but I think we purpose-driven life, purpose-driven advancements, purpose-driven ministry. I think it will fulfill the great purpose of God for our church. Now, I don't know if you all know about it. I'm sure you all know. AI is a big thing now, like AI art.
Your job is going to be replaced by AI.
Yeah, they always say that, but I don't think so. I don't think AI can replicate emotion. I don't think AI can do that. Maybe in the future, 100 years to come, maybe. But I think for now, AI can give you a set of politically correct answers. But on the topic of AI, do you all see AI dominating the way we do church in the future? Now, just to put some context into what I'm asking, metaverse. I'm sure you all have heard of metaverse. It kind of tried to take off, but didn't really take off. People thought metaverse would be the new way of doing church, But ultimately, people realize, if you don't have the right tools for it, then it's completely impossible to do church in the metaverse. But what about AI now? Because AI seems to be the big thing. AI seems to be the next. Wow. Do you see it dominating the way we do church?
For me, I think it boils down to one question, a very simple question. Can AI make disciples?
What if I say yes?
That's the thing. Well, if AI can make disciples and true followers of Jesus, I would see a future of people following Jesus through AI. But as long as AI cannot make disciples and followers of Jesus, I don't think it will ever dominate. Will it ever be? I personally, at this stage, don't think so. So, because it is something that's dead, it is just a culmination or it's just an information summary for people. After all, it's artificial intelligence. It's fake to a certain extent. So, but I would say it's a very useful tool if we need help like running church or even understanding scripture. Maybe it's also a good tool. But how correct is it theologically? I don't know. But I guess we'll slowly find out. But yeah, if AI can help make disciples for Jesus, I think that would be amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays AI can be used in a lot of things in terms of automation. Even replying to messages on Facebook or social media, it's kind of like using computer knowledge to reply. So I think if in this sense, of course, can make disciples lah. But in terms of helping to make the church workflow efficiency, I think it kind of plays a role in our life now in terms of production, editing. Offering now is also a QR scan. Also, money just comes in. You don't have to calculate anything, and it's just making workflow of church running church
Life
efficient lah.
Yeah. I think it will help us administratively.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I still think the heart of the church are still the people.
Yeah.
Even the people running the church. You see, because of church staffs like Joshua, everything runs smoothly every Sunday. Our broadcast runs so smoothly every Sunday, right?
They do a lot also.
Yeah. Because of volunteers like both of you, people come to church and they are blessed by your warmth and your encouragement. So I think AI has a place, but I don't think it will take over.
Yeah.
Agree? Yeah. How do we? So we talk about church in a social media age, right? We talk about how social media can be used to minister, but how do we continue to minister effectively to the present generation? That is very much in the digital world already. So how do we minister to them?
I think we should ask the younger ones. How would you like to be ministered in this generation, like with so much tech going on?
Would you like me to use tech to minister to you technologically? Or would you like me to pay you a visit?
I think most importantly is we crave human interaction. So I think no matter how much Zoom call, WhatsApp call can never replace that feeling. So even if it's for me, if you come house visitation, right? Unless you really cannot make it, then you send stuff, send me a message, it's fine. But of course, I'm pretty sure most people will want to have like house visitation where they see your face, and then they feel like, oh, I'm loved, and then only there's a sense of connection that happens with human to human interaction lah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like both are also important. Coming from a guy who is having long distance relationship.
That one no choice.
For me, I think again back to community. Community is something that is we are all created to be in community, and that is what church is like. We all live in a community, and what connects us together is that we believe in God. And I guess like what really what makes me think that community is like so important in our lives is actually during the pandemic. Because during pandemic, everyone was kind of on their own, locked in their own house, locked in their own room, and during that time, because I was already running the social media ministry of MEC, and what hit me was like, how can I use social media better to build that sense of community for people? Because everyone, even my friends, my life group members, family, everyone fell into like loneliness, feeling very disconnected and things like that. So like at the end of the day, I think like social media is something that can build a sense of community. And how we did it was we constantly post things, we remind people of it. Actually, there's still people here caring for you. There's still people here praying for you. And through social media, we remind people of God's goodness in their life, faithfulness in their life. And that's how we minister to people. But at the same time, it's not that now we have social media, we don't need physical interaction. No.
Yeah.
And I really like what Matthew said. Actually, physical interaction is still very important. And ministering to the younger generation through social media is like a invitation. It's like a big, open arm for them. Church is a place for you to have this community. So you are welcome here, kind of thing. And through the physical interaction in church, they find their community, kind of thing. Yeah.
I remember during the pandemic days when we were finally allowed to like do recording in church. Those were the best days of the week. Like you finally get to see people, you get to interact with people, and for that short period of time, it's like doing church together. Like it felt good, and that kind of like made me miss the physical gatherings. I'm glad everything opened up, right? I'm sure everyone is glad everything opened up and we are back to almost normal life now. I think it's back to normal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We can safely
definitely.
say it's back to normal. Do you all think that because of the digitalization of the world, because how we are in this social media age, do you think that there is a certain aspect of physical interaction or fellowship that has been lost in the church? What do you all think? Yes, no?
I mean, I would say to some extent, the gathering of life groups. Some, if you don't make it intentional to meet up physically, I think people would go for the easy route of meeting online, where there would, of course, it's more convenient. But when we only meet online, I think we are sacrificing a lot of the aspects of connecting with one another face to face. So meeting up in our, especially in life groups or in our fellowships, we can definitely join online and connect with one another online, but we still need to come back to physical connection with one another. So with the availability of these tools like Zoom or Skype calls or Microsoft Team meetings and all, it will be very important to encourage our members to be intentional in gathering together. Yes, these tools make things convenient, but we should not rely totally on them. That's how I feel.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, to a certain extent, most people are trying to still, recover back from the pandemic ages where, it's convenient to be online. It's definitely convenient to be online, but having that physical fellowship, it is so much more edifying. And of course, digital technology can never replace the in-person work of church, but it only can enhance. Sometimes you're not free or, something happened. Of course, having Zoom calls is fine for, meeting up as a life group. But of course, always go for that chance to, meet up physical. And yeah, because you technically don't go to doctors having Zoom calls, right? You meet up and, have that face-to-face conversation because it is like how they examine you. And it's more efficient that way. So you get that human-to-human feeling.
Yeah. Interesting. Speaking of doctor via Zoom call, actually there is an application that you can call a doctor, but actually it's all very basic diagnosis. At the end of the day, they will still encourage you to go to a clinic or schedule for a physical appointment.
Just like asking Google for questions.
Yeah, before they can actually diagnose you properly and provide you with proper medicine. If you refuse to do that, of course, they will still accept, and they will send you the medications based on that diagnosis. But I think like what you said, nothing beats seeing a doctor face to face and be checked out for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chen, anything to add on this point?
I think like what they say, like it's media is good, like Zoom calls and all. It's like very convenient. Like you have a meeting at 8, you don't have to depart. Let's say if it's a physical meeting, you have to leave your house at like 7:30 to get to the meeting place and have a meeting. You can just turn on your computer and have a meeting kind of thing. But I still remember when we were having like church online and things like that, like service start at 10. And like we can wake up at like 9:55. 9:59. And like I felt that like,
So you're one of those people.
like the spiritual discipline wise is like more or less affected lah. Cause like I'm not ready to worship kind of thing. I haven't prepared my heart to worship kind of thing lah. So there's pros and cons.
Yeah, true. Now we are coming to the end of this episode, but before we end, one last question: what do you seek from the church in this present time? Do you want the church to be more physical, fellowship based, everything is in person, or do you want the church to be, hey, you know what, leave me alone more? I want to be by myself. What do you want? What are you seeking from the church in today's times?
Of course, I want the church to love on me. I guess because like when we talk about church, like let's say church is like once a week on Sunday, and then maybe if you join a life group, then you have like an extra day that you can meet your friends in church. But I guess like of course, getting ministered through social media is also like a very good thing where you're like on your normal days, your working days, during your break time, you open up your phone, you saw like,
A
this
reel
week-
from PMAC.
Yes, a sermon recap reel
A
from
reel from
PMAC. It's like
PMAC.
such a good reminder.
It's continuation
Yes.
from the Sunday.
And then
Yeah.
sometimes you have Q&A and things like that. It's like you're constantly reminded of like good values. Like things like that.
Nice. What about yourself?
Maybe I look at this from a slightly different perspective. If we only leave the growth, the spiritual growth to the church, where we depend on the church to supply and also feed the congregation, I think it is only one half of the equation. The other half of the equation is members and the believers going out themselves and to live out the testimony and even to share God and the gospel through social media and all. So I think these both are very important. So what do I seek from the church in the future? Yeah, definitely I will agree that if the church can continue to provide even more nutrients, spiritual food throughout the week, I think this is very good. But it still boils down to there's only so much that a church, so-called a church, can do. But if the believers or the members are willing to step up and to say, hey, this is something good that like we can use, and we see members using social media or even digital technology for the glory of God to make disciples, I think that will be the other very important half of the equation.
Share, like, subscribe.
Yeah.
Follow us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt, cool.
Yeah, I mean, really good perspectives on this. But I think community is so important in the church. I think physical interaction in church feels much better lah. I mean, but hopefully church will just continue to like have more physical activities, in terms of building this community, and hopefully no more pandemic touch wood to come out lah. Cause
They say the next one is another 100 years to come. So
let's
don't
hope so lah. Because physical interaction is just you feel that love and warmth, and of course lah, like what Yetsen said, throughout the week, sometimes when you're apart from the church, sometimes scroll social media, then you suddenly see Pimat's face again. He's never gone.
So good.
Sunday you see him, Monday
you
you
see me
see him.
7 days a week.
Yeah. So at least you get reminded, hey, Pimat is here looking at you like, be good, read the Bible, and
No,
then
I'm
you're
not
reminded
God.
again.
God is
Doing
looking
God's
at you,
work,
not
doing
me.
God's work. But yeah, I mean, getting reminded throughout the week through social media, it's good lah.
Yeah.
And it's also like when you see social media in terms of you see MEC's posts, it's kind of like a good break lah from looking at all the other nonsense things like Instagram views, and it's a good reminder throughout the week.
True. Wonderful. Great insights, great inputs from all of you. And we hope that, you all have been blessed by all the podcasts that we have done this year. This is the last episode for this year. Till the next season, we'll come back. Definitely we'll come back. All right. So thank you to our Chit-Chat
you.
team.
Thank you for
Thank you so
inviting
much,
us.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in.